Most people are not choosing their life. They're repeating it without realizing it. In the next few minutes, you'll start to see that almost none of your choices were ever yours. Look closely. Your habits, your fears, your limits, most of them, were shaped by what you grew up seeing. It feels normal, but it keeps you stuck. What looks like freedom is often just a pattern you were born into. Over time, you accept it, and nothing really changes. Here's the truth most people avoid. Your bloodline is not proof of greatness. It is just where you started, and sometimes what holds you back. It was built to stay safe, not to grow strong. Even Niccolo Machiavelli understood that power is not handed down. It is created by those who break away. If you don't break the pattern, you become it. And the worst part? Most people never even realize it. But there is one clear sign, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. If nothing changes, nothing improves. Most people choose what feels easy and avoid what pushes them forward. At first, it seems fine, but over time, it builds a life that never grows. You end up with the same limits and frustrations as those before you. At some point, you face a choice: stay comfortable, or step into something harder and build something greater. One of these paths feels right, but quietly destroys your future. So understand this: your role is not to follow the path you were given. Your role is to change it. In this video, you'll learn 7 Machiavellian rules that expose this pattern and show you how to break it. Before we go ahead, type this affirmation in comments: I am loyal to myself. Number 1. Step outside the script you inherited. Every family follows a pattern, even if no one talks about it out loud, but almost no one ever sees it while they're inside it. It shows up in the way people think, the way they react, and the kind of choices they make every day. It tells them to stay careful, not take big risks, and not stand out too much. Over time, this becomes normal, and no one questions it. People think they are choosing on their own, but most of their choices come from what they always saw around them. The same jobs, the same fears, the same limits keep showing up again and again. These habits were made to keep life simple and safe, not to help someone grow big. But the world has changed, and staying small is no longer the only way to survive. Still, the mindset remains, and if you do not notice it, it will quietly control your life. The first step is to step back and look at everything clearly. Stop thinking like someone inside the pattern and start looking at it from the outside. Where do people hold back? Where do they give up too early? Where do they choose comfort instead of growth? Once you see these repeated behaviors, you cannot ignore them anymore. But seeing it is not the hard part. What comes next is where most people fail. And this is where many people make a mistake. They try to fix the pattern just a little, make it slightly better, slightly safer. But that does not break it. It only hides it. If you truly want to be different, you have to stop following it completely. You have to do things that feel unfamiliar, make choices others around you may not understand, and keep moving forward even when it feels uncomfortable. There will be doubt, there will be pressure, and some people may even try to pull you back. But that is the moment that matters most. If you stop, the pattern stays strong. If you keep going, it starts to weaken. And once you break it once, it becomes easier to break again. This is not about going against people. It is about taking control of your own direction. No one else can do this for you, and no one will hand it to you. In fact, some people may resist your change because it makes them question their own choices. That is normal. Do not expect support. Expect resistance, and use it to grow stronger. At the end of the day, your job is simple. Do not be a copy of what came before you. Become the reason things change after you. Now type this affirmation below and stand by it. I don't repeat, I rebuild. Number 2. Expose the weak spots that keep showing up. Most people never question where their weaknesses come from, and the reason why is more uncomfortable than people expect. They protect their background like it is something perfect, something that should never be examined too closely. They say things like, "This is just how we are," or "This is how it has always been," and they move on without thinking any deeper. But those words do not explain anything. They only keep the same problems alive. If you want to grow, you have to stop protecting the past and start studying it. Look at it clearly, without emotion. Because if you look at it emotionally, you'll protect it instead of fixing it. Pay attention to where people gave up, not just in big moments, but in small daily choices. Notice where they stopped trying when things became hard. Notice where they chose what was easy instead of what was right. These are the places where weakness hides. Now go further. Look at where fear played a role. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of looking foolish. You will start to see how often people avoid situations where they might struggle or feel uncomfortable. They stay inside safe limits because it protects their image, but it also stops their growth. Every time fear wins, progress is lost. Then look at discipline. Where did people start strong but fail to stay consistent? Where did they depend on feeling motivated instead of building habits? That pattern does not appear by chance. It is learned, and if you do not fix it, you will repeat it. This is not about blaming anyone. It is about understanding what is really going on. When you see these patterns clearly, you gain control. You are no longer guessing your way through life. You know what to avoid and what needs to change. But here is where most people stop. They notice the problem, but they do nothing about it. Just knowing the problem is not enough unless you fix it. You have to replace weak habits with stronger ones. If fear was common, then you start facing challenges on purpose. If comfort was the habit, then you train yourself to stay disciplined. If inconsistency was normal, then you build routines that keep you moving forward, no matter how you feel. This requires honesty, the kind that is not always comfortable. You have to admit what is not working and stop making excuses for it. Truth is what allows change to happen. When you stop hiding from it, you can finally move forward. So do not protect what holds you back. Study it, understand it, and then remove it. That is how you stop being part of the same cycle and become the person who ends it. Now type this affirmation below and stand by it. I see what needs to change. Number 3. Cut the need to be approved. Most people believe they are free to make their own choices, but if you look closer, many of their decisions are shaped by one hidden force, and that is the need for approval. And this is something that controls many people without them noticing. From a young age, they learn to seek praise, to avoid disappointment, and to fit into what others expect from them. Parents, relatives, friends, and even society create silent rules about how they should act, what they should choose, and what is considered right or wrong. Over time, people begin to adjust themselves to match those expectations. They hold back their real thoughts, lower their goals, and avoid actions that might make others uncomfortable, not because they are weak, but because they are used to being accepted. This creates a quiet trap, and most people don't even realize they're in it until it's too late. The more you look for approval, the less control you have over your own choices. Instead of making decisions based on what moves you forward, you start making decisions based on how others might react. That is where progress slows down. If you want to grow beyond what you have seen, you have to break this habit completely. Not sometimes, not when it feels easy, but fully. You have to reach a point where being misunderstood does not stop you, where being judged does not shake you, and where standing alone does not make you turn back. This is not simple, because the habit of seeking approval is built over many years. But you can start by paying attention to your choices. Ask yourself how often you change your actions just to avoid criticism, or how often you wait for support before moving forward. That is where your control is being limited. Once you see it, you can begin to change it. Shift your focus from being accepted to being effective, from trying to please everyone to building something real. The truth is, people will judge you no matter what you do. If you stay small, they will ignore you. If you aim higher, they may question you, so you might as well choose the path that leads to growth. At some point, you have to stand on your own and move forward without needing anyone to agree with you. That is where real change begins. Now type this affirmation below and stand by it. I move forward without permission. Number 4. Shape the way people read you. Most people focus only on what they do, what they build, and what they achieve. But they ignore something just as important, and that is how others see them. In real life, what people see about you matters just as much as what is true. The way people understand you shapes how they treat you. It affects whether they respect you, listen to you, or overlook you completely. And if you do not take control of that, someone else will decide it for you. Many people lose this without even noticing. They share everything about themselves, their plans, their feelings, and even their struggles. They talk too much, explain too much, and try too hard to be understood. But when you share everything, people can understand you too easily. People start to predict how you will react, what you will do next, and where your weak points are. And once that happens, you lose your edge. That is why you need to be more careful. Start with silence. This alone will change how people treat you faster than anything else. You do not need to speak all the time. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. People pay more attention because they are not used to hearing from you constantly. It also gives you time to observe. While others are busy talking, you can watch how they act, what they say, and what drives them. That information is valuable. Next, learn to choose what you show. You do not need to share every thought or every plan. Keep some things to yourself. This does not mean you are hiding. It means you are being smart. When people do not fully understand you, they think more carefully around you. They cannot easily judge you or place you into a simple box. That creates a kind of quiet strength. Also, avoid reacting the same way every time. If people know exactly how you will respond, they can control the situation. Stay calm, stay steady, and think before you act. This makes you harder to predict and harder to influence. Remember, this is not about pretending to be someone else. It is about being in control of what you reveal and when you reveal it. The less people know about your next move, the stronger your position becomes. Your actions still matter, your results still matter, but how people see those results also matters. When you manage both, you increase your impact. So stop trying to explain everything about yourself. Focus on building strength and let your presence speak for itself. Now type this affirmation below and stand by it. I choose what the world gets to see. Number 5. Handle every relationship with awareness. Most people move through relationships without thinking about them carefully, and that's exactly why they keep getting the same results. They trust too quickly, share too much, and give their time and energy to anyone who asks. Then later, they feel used, ignored, or disappointed, and they do not understand why. The truth is, every connection has a structure, even if it is not obvious. In every interaction, there is influence, there is balance, and there is a position each person holds. Some people pay attention to this early, but most never do. They believe relationships are only about feelings, kindness, and support. While those things matter, they are not the whole picture. Under the surface, there are patterns. Some people lead, some follow, some give more, and some take more. If you ignore this, you lose control without even realizing it. That is why you should take time to watch people before trusting them. Before you trust someone, watch how they act. Because once trust is misplaced, it's very hard to take control back. See how they respond when things get difficult. Notice if they keep their word or change their behavior when it suits them. These details show you who they really are. Many people skip this step and trust based on surface similarities, like shared background or common interests. That is how they end up surrounded by people who hold them back instead of pushing them forward. You have to be more aware than that. Also, be careful about what you share. When you tell people everything, your plans, your goals, your next steps, you make it easy for others to predict you. And once your path is clear, it becomes easier for others to interfere or copy what you are doing. So speak with purpose, say what matters, and keep the rest to yourself. Another important point is predictability. If people know exactly how you will react in every situation, they can prepare for you. That takes away your advantage. Stay steady in your values, but do not be obvious in your behavior. Think before you respond, and do not fall into the same patterns again and again. Now consider your time and energy. Not everyone deserves full access to it, but many people give it away without thinking. They reply to everyone, engage in everything, and make themselves available all the time. This lowers their value. When something is always easy to get, people stop caring about it. You need to choose carefully who gets your attention. Decide who deserves your time based on what they show, not just what they say. This does not mean you become distant or cold. You can still be respectful and kind, but you also stay aware. You understand the role each person plays in your life, because the people around you shape how you think, how you act, and where you go. If you stay around weak thinking, it will affect you. If you stay around strong and focused people, it will push you higher. So do not leave your relationships to chance. Build them with care. Choose wisely, stay aware, and move with purpose. Now, type this affirmation below and stand by it. Not everyone gets access to me. Number 6. Limit access. Increase your value. Most people lose their value without even noticing it, not because they lack skill or potential, but because they are always available. They reply too fast, show up everywhere, and give their time and attention to anything that comes their way. At first, it seems like a good thing, like they are being active and involved. But over time, it makes them easy to ignore. When something is always available, people stop valuing it. It becomes normal, and normal is easy to replace. That is why you need to think differently. Your value is not only based on what you do, but also on how often people see you, hear you, and have access to you. If people can reach you at any time, there is no reason for them to pay special attention when you are present. But when you become more selective, everything changes. When you are not always available, people start to notice when you are. This is where perception starts to shift. Your words carry more weight, and your presence feels stronger. This is not about disappearing completely. It is about choosing your moments. You do not need to be part of every conversation or respond to every message. You decide when to step in and when to stay back. That control creates importance. It makes people focus when you speak and remember when you act. The same applies to your attention. Many people spread it everywhere. They react to everything they see, and because of that, their focus becomes weak. But your attention is powerful. What you focus on grows. If you give it to everything, nothing really improves. You have to protect it. Do not rush to respond unless it matters. Do not let small distractions pull you away from what is important. Stay in control of where your time and energy go. Also, learn to manage your effort. Not every situation needs your full energy. If you give everything all the time, you will burn out and lose strength when it truly matters. Stay calm in most situations, steady and controlled. Then, when something important comes, give it your full focus and effort. That contrast makes a difference. People notice it because it is rare, and rare things are remembered. This is not about acting superior or distant. It is about discipline. It is about knowing your value and not lowering it by being everywhere all the time. When you control your presence, you create space, and that space makes people pay attention. It makes them think about you even when you are not around. So stop trying to be everywhere. Be selective, be focused, and let your presence carry weight. Now, type this affirmation below and stand by it. My time is limited, and I treat it that way. Number 7. Build a name that sets the bar. Most people think being remembered means being liked, being kind, or being easy to get along with. But that kind of memory does not last very long. It fades because it does not change anything. Real impact is different. It has weight. It leaves a mark that people cannot ignore. Your name should not just remind people that you were here. It should remind them that something became better, stronger, or different because of you. That is what it means to truly stand out. And to reach that level, you cannot think only about quick results or small wins. Those things come and go. You have to focus on building something that lasts. Because short-term wins disappear faster than you think. Instead of chasing attention, you start building systems. Instead of looking for short-term success, you create something that keeps growing even when you are not there. This could be knowledge you pass on, habits you build into your life, or something you create that continues to help others over time. What matters is that it does not depend only on your presence, because if everything stops when you stop, then nothing truly remains. Now think about influence. Not the kind that comes from popularity, but the kind that changes how people think and act. When your actions begin to shape others, when people start to measure themselves against your standards, that is when your name gains real meaning. You become more than just a person. You become a reference point. But this does not happen by chance. It comes from being consistent, staying focused, and following a clear direction over a long period of time. You cannot build something strong if you keep changing your path or giving up when things get hard. Every choice you make matters. The way you act, what you accept, what you ignore, all of it shapes what your name will stand for. So you have to decide, will your name stand for hesitation or action? Will it stand for comfort or discipline? Will it stand for average or something greater? If you do not choose, the answer will be chosen for you, and it will always be the easiest path. This is where you fully separate from what came before you. You do not just break old patterns, you replace them with something better. You become the point where everything changes. And when that happens, your name is no longer just a name. It becomes a standard that others recognize and remember. Now type this affirmation below and stand by it. My name stands for something real. At the end of everything, there is only one question that truly matters, and most people avoid it their entire lives. Did you make something better, or did you just follow the same path? Many people already know the answer, even if they never say it out loud. They follow the same path, stay inside the same limits, and live the same kind of life they were given. They carry a name, but they do not add anything new to it. They pass it forward exactly the same, without strength, without growth, without impact. No real effort to shift anything. But you made a different choice. You chose to see what others ignore. You chose to step away from what feels easy and face something harder. That alone puts you on a different path. But understand this clearly. This path comes with a cost. You will lose comfort. You may lose approval. You may feel like you no longer fit into the same places or with the same people. Some will not understand your choices, and some may even doubt you. That is part of the process. Nothing valuable comes without pressure, but what you gain is far greater. You gain control over your direction. You build something that has meaning. You create a name that carries weight when it is spoken. Not because people were told to respect it, but because it was earned through action and consistency. That is what lasts. Now, before you move on, do not just listen and forget this. Take a second to support this message. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe if you are serious about building a life that stands out. Because information means nothing if you do not use it. No one else will fix your life for you. No one else will build your future. That responsibility is yours, so do not wait. Start now. Because your bloodline does not need another person who follows the same pattern. It needs someone who changes it, and that someone is you.